I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully is disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. Those vile, disgusting Spartans. Poor little bro, them. And I'm gonna tell him why I'm mad. That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus. The other state, and of course, as always, I'm upset. Good evening, good people. It is I, the Maize Madman. That is Ryan. Michigan be cheating for Vel. Bro, I finally have to concede some things here. Did you see the Washington Post article?
I haven't seen that yet. No.
Oh, bro, that's bad. So ESPN did their thing, right? Pete Thamel and company did the bits and pieces they were dropping on ESPN. Yahoo Sports took it maybe a step further, but the Washington Post just exploded the Michigan football program for everyone to see. So this thing apparently may have started with Stallions and somebody investigating him, but it has quickly grown into some damning information, including coaches accessing computers with travel schedules for people to go to these games, which is, by the way, damning. That being said, there were no names given, but it's going to be hard
to fight against this.
It's hard. Well, obviously, I don't know how these people got the computer access or got.
Well, no. The NCAA actually, when they first announced the investigation and Stallions was first named,
right?
They said he had a computer with information that the NCAA wanted a hold of.
Well, yeah, I know that. What I'm saying is the NCAA doesn't have subpoena power, so that means that it would have had to be willingly handed over. So it's not like they could.
You think Michigan might have a mole?
Well, the Michigan does have a mole. That's also been been revealed here. This is crazy. It's all bad.
Maybe someone's got bad blood with Harbaugh. I don't know. I mean,
it is a person by the name of Jim Stapleton. And as a Michigan fan, Michigan fans may know this name, James Stapleton, whatever it is. He is a Michigan alum who hates Jim Harbaugh. He is a pro-Lloyd Carr guy who also helped to sabotage Rich Rod. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they obviously, Michigan had 5-star quarterback at the time. I think like the second quarterback in the nation, Ryan Mallett. And between Stapleton and Carr, they convinced Mallett to transfer to Arkansas. The rest is history. And then, Rich Rod was banking on getting Terrell Pryor because he had such a great relationship with them when he got to Michigan. Obviously, Terrell Pryor goes to the other state. That's another piece of history. But this Michigan fans doesn't look great. I will say that. Be sure to like and share the stream. Oh man, Ryan, what do you think?
I've been on this train, as you know, the last week. I know that you and Lucas are like, well, where's the proof? Obviously, I can't provide the proof because I'm not the NCAA, but all the quote, like, what do you call it? Circumstantial evidence.
Right.
And to a certain point, there's so much circumstantial evidence to where it's like the signs are pointing in one specific direction. And I think Michigan fans, rightfully so, because of the hamburger stuff, which was still blasphemous. That is still dumb. But obviously this situation is completely different. But yeah, I mean, I've seen stuff that
Of course, rest in peace, Ryan Mallett. Yes,
if this is
definitely.
as serious as, like you said, at the Washington Post, this could be more than just a slap on the wrist for Michigan. This could be vacating wins. This could be probably not this year, but maybe in the next couple seasons we see a postseason ban. I mean, and the thing is, what's crazy about it is I could see. I think with all this stuff, would you put it past Harbaugh leaving?
No, I don't.
Like pulling a
Harbaugh leaving is
Carroll?
like the least of the things. Harbaugh may be fired depending on what it is that is found out or whatever. That said, man, it really comes at the least opportune time. Michigan is having an excellent season on the field,
Yeah.
dominating everyone by all accounts. And this is not just from me as a fan or from other fans or from players or coaches on the team. These are coaches that Michigan has played against that have talked about how dominant this team is. You had PJ Fleck talk about this is the greatest team he's ever played against, right, or ever coached against. I think Tom Allen echoed similar sentiments. So it really sucks for this to be coming out at this time, especially. We'll see what happens. It would be unfathomable for me to believe that some suspensions at the very least won't happen at this point, considering the information that the Washington Post just released.
Yep.
Wow, this was
Did you see the
not
Twitter
expecting
stuff?
this.
Did you see the Twitter stuff, by the way, that Josh Pate was talking about? There was like a couple plays against Ohio State last year where uh, evidently a staff member on the Ohio State sideline during that game last year at some point didn't get a good feeling about, because you guys beat their ass, but didn't get a good feeling about certain things and
Yeah, I
thought that
don't.
Michigan knew
So
what
here's
was
the
going.
thing. Here's the thing. I want to be
Oh,
completely
go ahead.
transparent here. I don't give a shit about like what the sign stealing in essence, right? The sign
Yeah.
stealing is whatever, right? It's the links that they went to that is going to get them in trouble, not the freaking signs.
Yeah.
The however an Ohio State fan or an Ohio State coach or member of the staff felt about
No,
Michigan
he was
kicking
filming
their ass.
Stallions specifically because
Right,
I
right.
guess Stallions
Either
starts.
way,
He,
that's the damning part.
yeah.
But the what happened on the field happened on the field. I don't care about the signs. Like at that point, it's changed. And by the way, it's no excuse for them because Ryan Day has already come out and said that because they thought this was happening, they changed the signs for the
Oh,
Michigan
okay.
game. So I don't want to hear their excuses. They're full
No,
of
I
it.
thought it was funny because Josh Pate showed the clip and you see
Yeah,
Stallions with the paper and it's got the how like the different
right.
cartoons and stuff, and CJ Stroud was going to the line of scrimmage and Michigan did something on defense or shifted, and the video sees CJ Stroud going like, "What do you want to do here?" And they audible, and then you see Stallions watch the hand signal that CJ Stroud does,
Yeah.
and then immediately puts the paper up and starts whispering to the defensive coordinator. What's funny
Yeah.
about it is Ohio State scored a touchdown on that play.
Yeah.
So, and obviously
He's probably telling them I don't recognize this because they changed their signals. Here's a good comment here. Seth says pages like the wing helmet seem to think this is all BS. I don't believe that, by the way. It's not all BS for sure. One main thing is how things being leaked to the media, which is BS. So how could you get a fair case propaganda? I agree with this portion of the statement. The fact that this is all being leaked, this is obviously the NCAA leaking or people at the NCAA leaking this information to reporters to be then put out. And Michigan does not have, it's not like they're fighting on equal ground at this point, right? Because Michigan can't come out and say anything in defense of themselves, neither can the coach. So this is the unfair portion of it. And it shouldn't be, what it's become until they were ready to, it dropped the proverbial hammer.
And
So
the thing is, like, Josh Pate also made a good point. Like, I've seen it. He said that, Michigan fans online are like, well, even if they did break the rules, nothing will happen because Jim Harbaugh could just say he didn't know that
Mhm.
one of his underlings was doing this. And
Right.
Josh Pate's like, well, that's actually incorrect. In a lot of situations, that's true. But in this specific situation, either way, it screws Harbaugh because you can't have the plausible deniability in this case because even if you say, "Oh, well, I didn't know," then Harbaugh has, and then people are going to start questioning. Okay, Harbaugh has no control over this program. He doesn't know what his own coaching staff is doing.
Well,
And
I don't
then
even think it's that the NCAA has already proven that they don't care about what you knew, what the head coach knew, or what you know what I mean.
yeah,
Art Briles, although some would argue he knew, um, even down to when you get to basketball, Rick Pitino, who claimed he didn't have knowledge
yeah,
of
that
the
stuff
things
was
that
a
were
little
going
bit
on.
more serious, though. I feel like
Um,
definitely.
so I think although I mean, yeah, sure, the Louisville thing was a little more serious, but it's not that wasn't the first Rick Pitino thing. So there's that, but yeah, I agree with you on that. Harbaugh he can be aloof. I don't think he's aloof
Yeah, I don't think
in
he's
terms of
dumb. He's
yeah,
not
he's
dumb.
not dumb. He did, but I'm just saying it's possible that he had no clue about this. I'm not going to give an opinion on whether or not he
Yeah,
knew or not. I am going to say even if he didn't know, it doesn't absolve him, right? Like
yeah.
some people don't know every law in existence, right? But if you break it, they're not going to not
I mean, I don't
prosecute
know.
you
Is
because
that
you didn't know.
is what Stallions did? Is that illegal to do in the NFL? Like, are there
It,
rules
it
against
is
that in
not.
the?
Apparently, it's not illegal to do in high school. Here's the here's the skinny. The NCAA instituted this rule in 1994. Was written in
Okay.
because smaller schools complained about not being able to afford to do what Stallions is doing, what Michigan is accused of doing, right? Sending
Mm,
scouts out in advance to scout other people's games, future opponents' games. So smaller schools were like, hey, we can't keep up this way. So the NCAA wrote it in the interest of fairness. So before that, this was all legal.
okay, so maybe I mean, Harbaugh. He was an NFL coach for a long time. I mean, the only thing I could possibly think of is if he didn't know, is that maybe he didn't know that was a rule in college football.
I
Maybe
mean,
he thought it
that's
was just like
possible.
the NFL. I mean,
That's possible. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. It's possible. Be sure to like and share the stream. Leave your comments. We'll try to get to them
yeah,
as quickly as possible. This seems to be another day of Michigan revelation. We'll try to get to some other news for sure. We will get to some other news eventually. Uh, but yeah, Ryan. So obviously you've been beating this drum that Michigan has been cheating, which I think is overblown. The cheating portion of this is the fact that they paid people allegedly to go in advance to scout games,
yeah,
right? The same thing that you could do from home, except it's easier to do and you have access to audio and things like that. Maybe you can zoom in on a camera on someone's play sheet or whatever, right?
mm-hmm.
um when you're actually at the games, and it's a better visual for like a certain sign and then actually seeing it in real time play out, right? So
Yep.
I'm gonna uh concede that. However, as I pointed out with when you brought up the other state and Josh Pate bringing up Stallions being next to a coordinator whispering in his ear, the thing is, as Deion Sanders pointed out, shout out to Coach Prime, even if you know every play at this level, you still have to then, even if you know every sign, rather, you still have to then get the sign, decipher the sign, relay the sign. A play has to be called. The players have to then get the play and execute the play. So many working parts here have to, work well in
Yeah.
certain situations. I'm
It's
not
like
saying
those
it doesn't
people
give you
with Notre
any
Dame and
advantage.
Michigan for years. It's like, what is Notre Dame's Michigan's bread and butter?
Yeah.
We want the other team to know we're going to run the ball,
Yeah.
but you're not going to be. We want you to stop it, and that's
Yeah.
that. I've heard that a lot, but
And in the end, that's what Michigan did the last 2 years, right? They ran
yeah,
the football in 21 and 22, and against the other state, the same, especially against them, ran the football right down their throats to nauseum and dared them to stop it. They couldn't. That's what it came down to.
Yeah, I mean, I only really think it gives them an advantage on the defense because if you get the play call and audible on defense, your corners can sell out,
Hmm.
run, your safeties can sell out, your linebackers can sell out, or like if it's a pass play and you know the route concepts on the specific play, your safeties and corners have an advantage because they could basically just wait in the same spot where the route's supposed to end or the route's supposed to go. But my issue is like personally, like I think they broke the rules, but I don't have an issue with it in terms of like going out and scouting Ohio State, Penn State, Big Ten opponents. My thing is like as a person who played football and knows how that whole thing works. I don't like the whole going to scout future opponents. Like I put in the
Hmm.
group chat, a person on the Tennessee board back in January was actually a part of those. He's a higher up at Tennessee, and he said that there were people at Tennessee that thought that Michigan was doing this at their games, like not when they
Yeah.
played them, obviously, but they saw Michigan staffers at the Tennessee games,
Hmm.
specifically the Tennessee Vandy game, when Tennessee was, undefeated. They had just beat Bama. It looked like Michigan. That was probably going to be Michigan's opponent at that time. Uh, and Tennessee evidently like went to the NCAA and complained about that. So I don't have an issue with the Big Ten stuff because like teams scout other teams all the time. We did that in high school.
Yeah.
Like when we had a big game coming up, we went to that team's game the week before on our bye week. But my issue is the going to the future opponents.
Hmm.
Like Tennessee, I think Georgia is a team that is rumored to be one that Michigan did. Alabama, like I have an issue with that. And then also, let me ask you this: do you think it's like if someone funded this, obviously, do you think it was specifically someone within the football program, or do you think the university as a whole was funding this operation? Because if it's the university as a whole, then that goes just deeper than the football program. Like, are they doing this for basketball? Are they doing this for other sports? Do you think it's just specifically someone
Right.
within the football program or the university?
Right. Yeah, I think it's just the football. I mean, the university would have to be. It's not
You're
Michigan
you're cutting out really bad, Phil.
isn't, it's not Alabama where like football is like on the top of the mountaintop for those endowments and the money they get. Academic university is in on it. That's super diabolical. But yeah, so I think it's contained to the football program.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, people, and then I saw the joke on Twitter that Michigan must not have sent a staffer to TCU. That's why they lost because they didn't think TCU was going to make the playoff. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. The you saw the SEC video?
No, I haven't yet. I haven't yet.
Yeah, they did a Moose actually. I think he's in here. He shared a video with me from Twitter. The SEC, some SEC did a hilarious video on the scouting. I'll share it with you after the show or
Oh
something.
wait, hold
But
on. Actually, I think I. Oh, is it the SEC shorts?
yeah, it might be. Yeah, it's pretty good. Um, but yeah, I think obviously this is bad for us. Um, uh, and everyone who roots for Michigan, especially this year. Like I said, this year, especially this sucks because of everything that we're playing for right now. Michigan, in my opinion, and in the opinion of thousands of other people, millions of other people, maybe they're the most dominant team in college football. Um, and granted, people will say that they've played a cupcake schedule. That's fair, but in the conference, these are teams we would have played anyway. So, and at this point, we've played more of those teams than we did out of conference teams, and we're still making it look, like child's play. So, including a team with the top 10 defense in Rutgers. Don't do that. Rutgers received votes for the AP ranking. So,
man,
Greg Schiano's done a good job over there.
The same Rutgers that gave up 24 points in the first, the first half against Lil Bronim.
Yeah, they redeemed themselves though. They came back and won that game. Lil Bronim should be ashamed of themselves, by the way, for allowing that to happen.
Blew a 24-6 lead in the fourth quarter. That's wild.
They're a vile, disgusting Spartan.
Bro, so we got to talk about that Hitler stuff, man. What's going on with Michigan State right now?
Oh, that was disgusting, wasn't it?
I mean, the whole state of Michigan just got a lot going on right now, huh?
At least Rutgers can count 2-11. They're coming for you, bro.
Did you watch the Vikings game the other night?
I saw. Yes,
dude,
I saw
they had 9 guys on the field.
I saw that. Horrible.
What's up, Golden Playbook?
Shout out to Golden Playbook. Minnesota's not a cupcake.
The refs beat Iowa.
Well, that's fair because how do you call that back in that moment? How do you even throw the flag right there for? That was such a bogus call. That was beyond ridiculous.
Michigan gonna get the death penalty.
Death penalty.
The SMU, like where you guys get banned for like 10 years.
Here's the thing, and this is actually, and Ryan, I want your opinion on this.
Yeah.
Golden, give your opinion, Moose. Everybody. Michigan is such a massive brand, right?
Yeah.
And an important brand, especially for the Big Ten, right? They couldn't possibly hand them the death penalty, especially with the new television deals. If I'm NBC, I would immediately be like, oh, this is a breach of contract. Michigan is somebody we need on the network to drive these views. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think the only thing you could do with Michigan, I think the worst that could happen is a postseason ban. And then I think what's more likely to happen is kind of what happened with Notre Dame. I mean, Notre Dame had, I don't know if you remember, but in 2012, we had to vacate wins from 2012 to 2014.
Yeah.
Because Everett Golson played when he was ineligible to play.
Right.
Because Notre Dame had a staffer that was doing his homework for him. So we had to and that was all that happened. We didn't lose scholarships or anything. But that's obviously not as bad as, what's going on with Michigan. So I think what's going to happen is probably vacation of wins for however long this went on. So probably the last 2 or 3 years. And then maybe a 1-year postseason ban. So that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe a vacation of scholarships. I don't think you guys. The death penalty, that was just different. That was a lot different.
Yeah.
SMU did a lot worse. I think it was something like they were paying.
Yeah.
I can't remember what exactly they were doing.
They had a conglomerate going on over there. It was like Eric Dickerson. They had a lot of players over there too.
Yeah, they did. SMU was a really good team back then. Remember, they won. I think they won back-to-back national titles.
Yeah,
and that team. Those were some good teams, but postseason ban is very.
Here's the thing, man. I think even vacating wins is crazy for Michigan, considering Michigan is about to be the first team to 1,000 wins this season. And man, that would
so will that take the wins away from the record? Like the total over. Jesus.
Yeah, it took the wins away from you guys' record. At the time, Michigan and Ohio State were like 1-2 in wins and 1-2 in win percentage. Since then, Michigan fell on some harder times, and like the other state is like number one in win percentage now. You guys obviously fell down too, but
I
yeah, I
think
think
what
it's
we're
like
like three
maybe
now.
yeah, because
But
like
no, I count
Alabama's up there,
22. I'm just saying, like vacating wins. They vacated Notre Dame for 2 years of wins
right?
for the Everett goals and stuff, and that was petty. So I mean, I think I think that's almost a guarantee. Like not like it's not going to be guaranteed, but I think that's something that's definitely on the table.
Right. Yeah, so it will be interesting to say the least.
Oh, by the way, that
Um,
took away our technically that took away our 2 wins against you guys in 2012 and 2014. So those wins don't count technically.
so
We
you
had to
guys
vacate
haven't.
them.
So that record is even worse than what I thought it was.
Hey, so well, if they have to vacate the wins for the next 3 years, does Ohio State get to like claim that they still have the streak is still going? Because those don't count if they
Oh
have to
wow.
vacate those.
Yeah, they will. Even if they don't get to, they will for sure. Those fans are the. You know what? I'm not gonna do that to them. At this point, we don't have the foot right now.
If Jim knew, then
If Jim knew, then
yeah.
freaking vacating wins might be getting off easy. Michigan actually fights this. It'll result in a slap on the wrist 5 years from now once it's out. Slap on the wrist. What do you mean by that, Yellowbird? What exactly is like the ideal outcome if, Michigan fights this?
I also don't
Because
think people are talking enough about the fact that the NCAA, because Jim Harbaugh had some things to say about them over the hamburger stuff. You don't think that the NCAA, the fact that they have the legal ability to do whatever they want, that the fact that just they've been beefing with Jim
no,
is going
there
to have
is
any
like a
impact?
well, I think that's going to have that's had an impact right so far, I believe, right? With all the things that have been leaked and everything. But I do think that the NCAA has like a structure, it's structured on what they can do for what offenses, right? Like level 1, 2, whatever. So they can't just like do whatever they want, in essence. But who knows? Really quickly before we move on.
Maize and Blue Nation, it's Tom Brady. I co-founded Autograph with one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. That's why I'm excited to announce the release of a new app that recognizes the biggest Michigan fans. The Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best Michigan content, fan challenges, and exclusive rewards for diehard Wolverines, all for doing the things you already do, like listening to this podcast. Head over to the Apple App Store and search for Autograph Rewarding Fans and download today.
Shout out to Tom. Shout out to the Autograph. Your boy is partnering with Autograph for this. Fans of Michigan and every football team, be sure to head over in the Apple App Store and download the app. Use the code Madman. There will be fan rankings as well as podcast and YouTube channel rankings. So be sure to use that code. It really helps the channel grow. Anyway, Ryan, moving along. Michigan has a bye week this week, which is fitting. I'm sure that just gives them even more time to dig up
dwell on
more
this.
things. Exactly. I'm pretty sure Jim Harbaugh at some point. Man, I don't know. I don't feel good about it, but I also am not panicking either, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I just don't want like Josh Pate said, I don't want Michigan fans to think that this is just gonna like blow over and there's nothing going to happen with this, because I mean, we've seen what the NCAA has done in the past. And they have went out of their way. Look what they did to Tennessee. Tennessee for what they did, and that only went on for like a year. And they got a loss of like 30 or 40 scholarships over the next 3 years,
Mhm.
which I know that's not like that doesn't seem as important, but when you're trying to recruit and build on a team that has been a 10-win team, that probably will be a 10 or 9-win team this year, that doesn't help. That
Yeah.
doesn't help. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't want Michigan fans to think that, oh, this is just we're just gonna get a slap on the wrist, nothing's gonna happen. The NCAA won't do anything because we've seen the NCAA has a history of doing things.
Sure. I mean, I guess. Be sure to like and share the stream. But yeah, I mean, I guess, man. I don't think Michigan fans should panic either, though. I think
No. And I
you
don't think anything will happen this year.
yeah,
Like your team this year, I think is fine. Like, but what I
yeah,
am thinking is that I think this investigation
yeah,
causes Harbaugh, I don't care what the outcome is. I think just the
right.
investigation in general, I think Harbaugh's gone next year.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I think that's a
JJ,
possibility, even
yeah,
whether it be through firing, resignation, or just getting another job on the NFL level. That is a
because I
possibility.
just think
I
Jim's
think it's
tired of college football. I mean, I think he's
I think
just
he's
sick of the
tired of the
NCAA.
NCAA.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think, man, this comes at a horrible time because he was poised to get a new contract that was, I'm sure, going to make him the highest paid coach in the Big Ten and possibly in college football, period. So it all comes at a horrible time, and this Stallions guy is the
And think
worst.
about it: if there is for whatever reason a postseason ban or a loss in scholarships, Michigan's been red hot on the recruiting trail the last 3 years. That could have a huge impact on that because remember when North Carolina was on postseason ban a couple years ago?
Yeah,
They lost a lot of kids because kids didn't want to go play football at a school that was on postseason ban
yeah.
because you're basically like JMU, you're playing meaningless football at that point. So there's a lot of stuff that this
Hell
could.
no is the answer to this.
Have you seen the job Rich Rod has been doing at San Diego State?
I have not.
Terrible.
I don't
Terrible.
care.
They lost to Nevada 6-0.
Yeah, I think here's what I think they could do or should do. I think if Jim leaves, they should go after Prime.
Coach Prime.
Go after Coach Prime. Now, granted, I don't think Michigan would ever do that because they would never concede to the demands of Coach Prime, who has a lot going on, right? Like he's got his son as like the personal videographer. You know what I mean? He's got customized this and that. The office is customized. It's Prime everywhere. You know what I mean?
And I
So
also
maybe
think it only
Michigan.
works because Colorado was desperate enough
Well,
to wanted to
absolutely,
win that they're like, hey,
absolutely.
do whatever you want.
Heck yeah, right,
Michigan doesn't need Coach Prime.
right.
So
Not
there's the difference.
exactly. They don't need Coach Prime, but it would be absolutely hilarious to watch the other state and the rest of the Big Ten squirm because for sure the recruiting would be on another level. But
Well, Michigan still has their academic, like, as you guys still have academic standards, and then
yeah,
I don't know how that would work with, because I know Michigan's still kind of with Notre Dame in that NIL boat where they're not like
right.
Georgia, where they'll drop 10 million on a player.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be interesting to see.
It would definitely be interesting. The Thinker had something here to say. Actually, I wanted to actually talk about. All right, no way the Big Ten Conference is going to let Michigan keep your coach. We don't know if Michigan record is a fraud. I don't wait. So, oh my God, how much just for my sake, I want to know how everybody thinks that what everybody thinks how much sign stealing contributes to a win. Do you think you steal signs and that guarantees you a win? Do you think you steal signs and the other team isn't stealing your signs? I don't know. Let me know because the Thinker seems to believe that Michigan stealing signs equal the success they've had.
Like EJ Manuel said when he was asked about it, he said when he played at Florida State, and remember how good those Florida State teams were, he said we stole signs.
Yeah.
He was openly like we stole signs. And he said those Clemson teams that won the national title, I can guarantee you, he said, because I know people in that realm that were playing at that time, they definitely stole signs. Alabama steals signs. He said, I got friends that played at Georgia that told me they stole signs. So he's like, it happens all over. And every team in college football pretty much steals signs.
Who's in it for himself. What coach you think? I want to. You know what? Nah, because I gotta pose this. I gotta pose this question. I gotta react to this. What coach is out here coaching for free? None of them, right? What are you talking about, man? Like I just don't. You think
Marcus
these?
Freeman's
You think the majority of these coaches are coaching because they love the kids?
Marcus Freeman is. Do you see he's not even like the top 100 of paid coaches in college football?
Well, this is Marcus Freeman's first ever head coaching job.
I know, but still, he's the head coach at Notre Dame. They could give him more money than what they're giving him.
He's unproven. He hasn't proved a thing. Except he has trouble counting to 11, but that's neither here nor there.
That's an Ohio State degree, though. Right. He's only been here for 2 years. You got to give him.
Right. All teams do it. People lose. Got problems, turn into Karens. Absolutely. I agree 1,000%. What rule was broken? The rule that was broken was the advanced scouting. According to bylaw 11.6.1, you're not allowed to send people, or coaches aren't allowed to go to future opponents' games to scout, and technology can't be involved as well. So those are the rules that were broken.
Yep.
Come on, y'all. Every team does this. Include we agree on this. We agree on this point.
Yeah, it's not the stealing signs that's the issue, guys. That's not the stealing signs is completely fine. Like that's completely fine. The rule that was broken was what Phil had just said.
Holy crap. This is a great point by John Wright. And I remember him saying this in public. Urban Meyer said they sent scouts to every Michigan game. He said that on like that Fox desk. He said that. And yeah, that didn't prompt an investigation. You're right. It's weird. Theory, Ohio State is the true culprit. I'm sure that means culprit. I agree. They could very well be part of this, although Jim Stapleton has been.
I don't know if you want David Shaw. I don't know if you want David Shaw.
Hell no, we don't want David Shaw.
Did you see that did at Stanford the last like 4 years?
Yeah, once those players were gone, he was trash. No Michigan coaches went to scout anymore.
Let's be real though, Jim. Jim left.
It's Michigan. It doesn't have to be just a coach, Yellowbird. Staffers are included in that bylaw. Anybody, staffers, and anybody that a coach may have sent. So it's very in depth there. Michigan State couldn't even score a point the first half. They were giving calls to the QB. Yeah. Ohio State cheats at every game. Yeah, that's right. Showing up in that disgusting red that they call scarlet.
Hey, you know what? Michigan may be stealing signs, but Ohio State pays refs. As we've seen with the Notre Dame and
scouted anyone. Well, again, Yellowbird, I'd said anyone that is okay. Maybe I didn't say, but I have to go deeper in depth. The rule is very in depth. Anyone that is scouting on behalf of Michigan,
it can even be a booster.
Exactly, they can't do that.
But Stallions is a part of the staff, Yellowbird.
Yeah, well, he's trying to. Stallions wasn't at the game, is what he's saying. Because apparently he bought the tickets and then gave them to other people to then go to the games. Let's keep it real. Keep it real, thinker. What are we keeping real? Jim's run a dirty Hey man, get out of here, bro. A dirty program.
Who is the thinker?
Right. Somebody hiding behind this fake. Get out of here. You clearly aren't thinking. You're not using
seriously though. Can we talk about that? Like how blatantly obvious the refs have been like favoring Ohio State in like every single game this year. Like that Penn State sequence was really bad.
Hold on. This guy has to be blocked. Where's my? I have
a tool.
No, not even a tool, but I got like a person. What do you call that person who's supposed to block this guy? He's talking nonsense.
Put him in timeout, Phil.
Exactly. This guy's what? I never want to see you comment again. What if he bought tickets and their fellow soldiers went to the game? Is that wrong? Right. What if he was buying tickets for soldiers?
Okay.
Right?
Come on,
guys.
Well, okay. What about the 30 plus other games he bought tickets for?
I mean, soldiers are teams of fans of teams all over the country.
And he bought tickets for both sidelines. Oh man. Well, wasn't Stallions a former wasn't he a former Marine or former Navy or something like that?
Yeah, he's a former Marine or something. I don't know if this is for me. Somebody wants me to invite the call. I don't have the call. Vegas turned you guys in. He's still here. You know what? I'm gonna do it myself.
Just put him in timeout. There we go.
In timeout. Get out of here. Anyway, yeah. So, but I did hear Vegas shut down the Michigan lines or something like that. So.
Yellowbird, I know you don't like. The thing is, I know you guys don't like the rule, but it's a rule, and if Michigan broke the rule, then I understand why you think it's stupid, but if you break the rules, there's punishments for breaking the rules. We could all I'm sure we all had rules, or growing up, we all had rules that our parents had for us, right, Phil? Yeah, we didn't like growing up. And we thought we're stupid.
Well, I enjoyed all my parents' rules.
But when we broke them, what happened, Phil? We got punished for it.
Things happened, yeah. I'm not going to talk about that over these airwaves because I don't want people to look at my parents differently. But yeah. So anyway, Ryan, you guys are back, right? This week?
We played Pitt.
Oh yeah,
Pitt Panthers.
Pitt, you guys got to watch out for Pitt. Didn't they upset? They upset
Louisville 38-21.
Louisville, and if I'm playing the transitive property Olympics like you do often, Louisville beat Notre Dame, and then Pitt beat Louisville, so Pitt should beat Notre Dame.
Well, Jack Plummer threw 3 INTs. 2 of them were pick sixes against Pitt. So.
Yeah. So that Pitt defense must be stout.
And you know what Pitt likes to do, Phil? They like to stack the box.
Right.
So no, I'm not a little even the slightest bit worried about this game. Notre Dame's coming off a bye week they've had that they needed, because that team's just been on a grind since week 0. So they finally get some rest. Our guys are getting healthier. Our receivers are getting healthier. Jaden Greathouse seemed to be he's our best receiver. He's finally fully back from that hamstring injury. So I'm excited for that. But also Pitt, they got a tough game this weekend. I can't remember who exactly they play. Mm-hmm. I think is it North Carolina? I think they play. Let me pull that up real quick. But I mean, Notre Dame's favored by 16.5. Actually, it's 20.5 now. Notre Dame should blow the doors off Pitt. I mean, they have a third-string quarterback running the operations there. So never mind. So Pitt plays Wake Forest this week at Wake. But yeah, the fact that Notre Dame's had 2 weeks to get prepared for this Pitt team, it should be a pretty easy dub.
Yeah. As much as I don't want to, I agree. I think Notre Dame coming off a bye week, still has things to play for, I suppose.
Playing for that New Year's 6 game. That's what we're playing for.
There you go. Totally wasted Sam Hartman, in my opinion. with not making a national championship or
Sam
being in
Hartman
the
would be
run.
undefeated if he was at Michigan.
He would. He certainly would.
Caden McNamara would be undefeated if he was at Michigan right now.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. No, I'm joking. I like Cade. Some things came out about Cade and his treatment of JJ that I didn't like, but Cade was
Oh, I didn't see that.
again the most important player in modern Michigan history. Cade McNamara. I stand by that.
Even if he was a game manager.
Right. All this poppycock. Look how this is coming out. Don't you smell conspiracy? Well, I definitely think it's conspiratorial for sure. I think and that's come out too. It's an inside job from a former alum who has been part of the leaking. He now is on the NCAA infractions committee, Mr. James Stapleton or Jim Stapleton, also part owner in the Minnesota Vikings. He is actually the reason Jim didn't get that Minnesota Vikings job. He really dislikes Jim Harbaugh a lot. And
Didn't he
so,
interview him though?
well, the Vikings interviewed him. Apparently, Stapleton is the reason though that it didn't happen for Jim, which worked out in our favor, at least to this point, with Jim coming back to Michigan. So there's that. But yeah, I think there's a lot of factors going on. There's a lot of things going on here. At the very top of the list, though, conspiracy for sure.
Conspiracy.
Very top of my list, conspiracy. But yeah, so Ryan, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time today. We talked about what we needed to talk about. What are we missing?
What Notre Dame got commitment from the number 5 tight end in the 2025 class.
Oh,
tight
yeah,
end
you guys
you back at it again.
Tight end you. By the way, I don't think you guys should be saying that.
We are tight end you.
Considering the way that you have used tight ends this season, or your lack of use of tight ends.
Hey, Mitch, have you seen Mitchell Evans? He busted on the scene this year.
Trash.
You see the catch he had against Ohio State?
I saw it.
Yeah, he mossed them. No, when I look at Mitchell Evans and I look at Michael Mayer, they're the same player.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
How's Mayer doing for your Raiders, by the way?
I think the last couple games he's come on, he's been getting more targets. He's been part of the lineup, the rotation. So I like what he's doing over there. I think he's going to be real good.
I know it pains you to root for a Notre Dame player.
No, I really don't have a huge problem with Notre Dame. I think I told you this before. Like, sure, Notre Dame is Michigan's probably second chief rival, but we don't play each other enough for it to be a real thing for me. Like in terms of
we played every year. I honestly if Notre Dame and Michigan played each other every year, I think that would. I know Ohio State, Michigan's really big, but
yeah,
if Notre Dame and Michigan were to play every year, I honestly think that would trump Michigan, Ohio State. If they played for the same amount of time, I think Notre Dame, Michigan would just because to me, Michigan, Ohio State, yeah, you got the hatred, but when Notre Dame and Michigan were playing all those years in a row, it got pretty nasty. It got pretty nasty. I really wish our team could play again.
Some classic games, yeah. Well, if you guys join the conference, we can get that done. Speaking of joining the conference, Army joins the AAC, not the ACC, the AAC, and now they will play. They still play Navy. That first Saturday in December.
Second Saturday.
They now have the potential to play. And yes, you're right, because the first Saturday in December, they have the potential to play in the AAC championship against one another, which obviously diminishes that second Saturday matchup if it happens that way.
This is why we need Air Force to just join the American. It makes sense. You got Navy, Army, put Air Force in there.
Right.
Get the Virginia Military Academy in there.
No. Now we're going too far. Troy, shout out to Troy. Have a good night. Good sir. Yeah, man. I'm a shout out to everyone who came out tonight. I'm gonna get out of here early on this one.
Yeah.
Because I do have to get some things going. But be sure to follow Ryan everywhere
On Twitter.
or on Twitter,
at
Frabble_Ryan.
Yep.
Follow me everywhere at Maize Madman. And be sure to check out Autograph. Go to the Apple App Store, download the Autograph app. It's Autograph Rewarding Fans. Look for that in the App Store. Excited to be a part of this team.
Real
Tom
quick,
Brady.
what's with the Bears, by the way? The bear up top. Oh wait.
Oh, that's an autograph. That's part of autographs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so Tom Brady and the team over at Autograph have just announced the release of this game-changing app that recognizes Michigan fans, you, the Michigan fans, and all your acts of fandom. The Autograph fandom app gives you access to all your favorite Michigan content, including this show and fan challenges, exclusive rewards for diehard Wolverines. Be sure to check it out. Until next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.